The stage was classic 60 Minutes, quiet, uncluttered, and intimate. No audience, no spectacle. Just 2 chairs, a small table, and that unmistakable hush of serious journalism. Anderson Cooper greeted Prince Harry with an open hand and a cordial smile. "Harry, thank you for making the time," Anderson said, voice warm but weighty. Harry nodded, posture loose but carrying a hint of tension. "I suppose the world expects explanations," he replied. "So here we are." Anderson's light chuckle softened the moment. "That's the value of conversations like this. We hear directly from you." The opening minutes flowed easily. Anderson asked about life in America, the shift from royal duty to private work, and raising a family outside the monarchy. Harry answered, but his tone had an edge. "America has been tolerable," he said coolly. "At least I'm not bowing to antiquated rituals or pretending my family understands me. It's freeing to live where I'm seen as more than a spare part." Anderson didn't flinch. He'd handled presidents, generals, and stars under fire. "Isn't there also comfort in tradition?" he asked. "Stability, perhaps?" Harry's smile thinned. "Comfort for whom? For the ones on golden thrones? Tradition is just a prettier cage. My family clings to it because it conceals the cracks." Anderson kept an even keel. "Many still view the crown as a symbol of unity and resilience. What do you say to them?" "They're enchanted by a fairy tale," Harry said. "They don't see the machinery, the manipulation, the silencing, the control. They cheer the crown and ignore who bleeds for it." Sensing the heat rising, Anderson shifted gently. "Let's talk family. You've spoken with real feeling about Meghan and your children. How is life as a husband and father away from the institution?" Harry's jaw flexed. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "It's as it should be, mine. The press has no right to dissect it, and neither does the monarchy. I protect what's mine." "That's more than they ever did for me," Anderson nodded, but pressed a necessary point. "When you publish a book, produce documentaries, and sit for interviews like this, you invite questions. Is there a contradiction in demanding privacy while sharing intimate details on your schedule?" Harry's irritation surfaced. "That argument is tired. Privacy isn't silence, it's control. I decide what the world gets to know. If people can't grasp that, they're not worth addressing." The energy shifted. The friendly chat was now a chess match. "That's certainly one framing," Anderson said. "Some would call it selective." "Selective?" Harry leaned back, arms crossed. "No, it's freedom. Something you, as an American, should understand." Cameras hummed. Crew stayed stone still. The temperature rose by degrees. Anderson angled toward a deeper vein. "You've spoken often about the institution's impact. Your mother, Princess Diana, connected with people in a singular way, beyond duty. Do you feel you carry her legacy?" Harry's lips pressed tight. "Legacy is a media word. You lifted my mother up, tore her down, and expect me to wear the weight like a crown I should be grateful for. I'm not her replacement, and I won't let anyone wield her name as a measuring stick." "Fair point," Anderson replied evenly. "Many still see you as continuing her independence, challenging tradition." "You want a symbol," Harry shot back. "It makes better headlines. I won't be a candle in the wind for nostalgia. My mother's memory belongs to me and my family, not the public and not journalists." Anderson absorbed the blow. "Then let's pivot. Meghan, you've said she changed your life. Critics argue your marriage widened the rift with your family. Your response?" "Critics?" Harry snapped. "People who've never met her, writing from behind desks. Meghan didn't pull me away. She freed me from a suffocating system." "If you can't see that, you're blind." "Describing her as having saved you," Anderson asked, "doesn't that imply she holds singular sway over your choices?" "It's called partnership," Harry said, cutting. "Something journalists rarely grasp while dissecting others' relationships." Anderson kept his tone level. "You've said raising your children in America allows them to be normal. How is fatherhood different here than in the UK?" "Simple," Harry said. "Here, my kids can be kids, not photo props, not pieces on a royal chessboard. And unlike back home, they have a father who shields them. You don't believe your family would have protected them?" "The monarchy doesn't protect its own heirs, let alone the so-called spares children," Harry said. "My kids would be sacrifices to tradition. That's not family. That's exploitation." "Some will say," Anderson replied, that by writing, filming, and sitting here today, you're also putting them in the spotlight, just under your terms. How do you reconcile that? I don't owe anyone reconciliation, Harry said, leaning in. I decide what safeguards my family. The media doesn't, the Crown doesn't, and certainly not you. Anderson's jaw set, voice still calm. Every question about accountability circles back to control. Is there room for balance? Balance is a myth, Harry said, almost smug. Either you steer your story, or it steers you. I'm done being a captive narrative. That's something you'll never understand when your career feeds on other people's lives. For the first time, Anderson's brow creased, then smoothed. He let silence work. All right, he said. Let's look ahead. 10 years from now, what does life look like for Prince Harry? Harry gave a cool laugh. The future is mine, not a press release. I'll do what I want, when I want. People can accept it or choke on their expectations. Anderson tapped his pen once, twice. Then, quietly, Interesting, Harry. He met the prince's gaze. I've interviewed people at their highest and lowest. Presidents in scandal, soldiers from war, families shattered by grief. They shared one trait, humility. Is there a risk yours has gone missing? Harry's stare hardened. Don't lecture me on humility. I've lived what you couldn't survive. If I sound unapologetic, it's because I've earned it. Humility is for those still begging for approval. I'm not. The air thickened. Anderson drew a steady breath. Critics have noted that even as you reject the monarchy, much of your public work, your book, the Netflix series, interviews, still orbits it. How do you answer those who say you're escaping the institution while never letting it go? Harry gave a short, sharp laugh. Critics cling to illusions, anything to keep the crown polished. I talk about it because it formed me and scarred me. You don't walk away from the monarchy. It's stamped into your skin. If I expose its flaws, that's my right. If people can't handle the truth, that's their problem. You've also benefited from telling that story, Anderson said. Do you see a contradiction there? Benefited? Harry leaned forward. Is it profit when you reclaim pieces of your life that were taken, or survival? I took back my story. If people pay to hear it, better it comes from me than from tabloids you love to cite. I don't cite tabloids, Anderson replied, voice taut. I ask questions the public wants answered. Semantics, Harry said. You still feed the appetite. You're no different. Given your contempt for the press, Anderson asked, are you here because you want attention? Just on your terms? Harry's smile turned mocking. Ah, the trap. Attention, fame, celebrity. I'm not here because I want yours. I'm here because you begged for mine. Let's not pretend otherwise. A murmur rippled at the back of the room. A producer shifted. The hum of the lights felt louder. All right, Anderson said softly, recalibrating. Your mother meant the world to you. She fought for autonomy, often against the same forces you criticize. Do you think she'd be proud of how you've handled things? Harry's voice sharpened. Don't use my mother as a prop in your broadcast. You didn't know her. You don't know what she endured. You have no right to speculate. I wasn't speculating, Anderson said evenly. I was asking your perspective. My perspective doesn't need your validation, Harry snapped. If you're hunting for a sentimental soundbite, you're wasting your hour. Anderson set down his pen. Let's talk Meghan again. Many admire her. Others don't. How has she shaped the man you are? Harry laughed without warmth. Here we go. Always Meghan, always the fixation. She isn't my role model. She's my partner. Why not ask about my work and projects instead of repackaging public speculation? I have, Anderson said. You've steered answers back to grievances with your family and the press. Is it possible your critics have a point? That the story has become resentment over purpose? Harry's stare went cold. I don't owe anyone purpose, or a tidy arc. I live for myself, not for approval. And yet, Anderson said, leaning in, you're on one of the most watched programs in America, insisting on being heard. That contradiction is worth noting. Spare me, Harry said. Without people like me, you'd have empty airtime. Remember that before you sermonize. Silence collapsed over the set. Crew looked down. The line had been crossed, and then some. Anderson straightened, voice low but unblinking. I've interviewed leaders, survivors, people carrying unimaginable loss. They brought dignity to the chair. What I'm seeing here is different. Harry's smirk returned. Dignity is overrated. Survival is what matters. And I've survived more than you'll ever understand. Tension climbed another rung. Anderson stayed steady. For nearly an hour we've discussed family, choices, America. You talk about control, about refusing labels. But I'll ask plainly, isn't this defensiveness, this hostility, defining you more than anything your family or the press ever could? Harry leaned forward, eyes blazing. You want me contained, polite, boxed up in your fairy tale. Newsflash, I don't fit your box. I never will. You say you're done with rules, Anderson replied, but you're still blaming everyone else. When does the mirror come into play? You don't know what it is to be hunted, Harry shot back. And I won't play by anyone's rules but my own. Anderson's composure thinned, and then held. I've spoken with people who lost everything and found grace, he said. What I see here isn't courage, it's entitlement. You call it honesty. I call it self-destruction. Harry's fist tightened on the chair. You don't get to define me. I owe you nothing. Then why sit here? Anderson asked, voice sharpened to steel. Why the cameras? You condemn the media, but run toward the spotlight. You preach freedom while chained to bitterness. You want to be heard, but you don't want to listen. That's why you're here, without the institution, without the family, and without the respect you believe you deserve. Harry's face flushed. You don't know me. You're another vulture pretending to care. Maybe the monarchy didn't deserve me. Maybe the world doesn't either. I'll live my truth, whether you like it or not. Anderson paused, then delivered the line that broke the room. You want the truth? You're not living it. You're hiding behind it. You're not the brave rebel you imagine. You're a man who had everything in hand and set it on fire, not with purpose, but with pride. And if Diana were here, I think she'd weep at what you've become. The set seemed to exhale and then choke. Harry's chair scraped loudly across the floor. That's it, he snapped. I won't sit and be insulted. This is over. A producer stood, hand half raised, too late. Harry ripped off his mic, the cable popping free, and strode off set. Anderson turned back to camera, voice controlled. Sometimes the hardest truth to face is the one nearest the bone. Tonight, you witnessed a man unwilling to confront his reflection. That is his decision. Our job is to ask and to listen, even when answers arrive wrapped in arrogance. He softened, addressing viewers directly. We hoped for reflection. We received something else. Perhaps that, too, reveals more than any tidy quote. The lens held on his calm face, then cut to black. Across living rooms nationwide, people sat stunned. The prince who came to tell his story had walked away, leaving not clarity, but controversy. Was this the most dramatic moment of his media life, or another collision with the press he says he rejects? Tell us below. If this rattled you, tap like. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more unforgettable moments like this.